Picture a towering, once invincible corporation. Now, watch as the lights go out, floor by floor, until the entire structure sits in the dark. When a giant like that starts to fall, the specialists called in to stop the collapse practice a high-stakes discipline known as turnaround management. The first thing these specialists check is the company's liquidity, the actual cash available to meet immediate obligations like payroll and debt interest. Leadership faces an immediate diagnostic test. They have to determine if they are experiencing a temporary market setback and still heading in the right direction, or if they are mathematically heading for disaster. Spotting the indicators of a cash flow crisis while the company still has options is the only window leadership has. If they ignore these markers, bankruptcy often becomes the only remaining path. The people sounding this alarm are the analysts, the number crunchers who dig through thousands of raw financial files to find the exact point where the business is bleeding out. Staring at endless rows of unformatted spreadsheets is mind-numbingly boring. Without proper visualization tools to map the data, spotting the true narrative hidden in the numbers is nearly impossible. These analysts operate within a strict regulatory environment. Every piece of financial restructuring must be booked and tracked according to IFRS, the International Financial Reporting Standards. Analysts use these strict reporting standards to ground a recovery plan in verifiable financial reality, turning sterile data into a roadmap for corporate survival. When you are trying to save a company, the greatest threat to your analysis is a bad variable. An outlier can skew the data, making a doomed project look profitable, or a vital department look like a liability. To understand how easily this happens, look at the classic NASA moon survival exercise, where teams rank a list of items based on their usefulness for a lunar crash landing. One item on the list is a portable space heater. Because the scenario takes place on the sunlit side of the moon, where there is no atmosphere to shield the heat, the temperature is already boiling. This chart shows a team's projected survival score. Watch what happens when they decide to keep that space heater. The score collapses. Just as that heater skews the lunar survival data, a single misinterpreted variable on a balance sheet can hide a fatal cash bleed. Analysts have to audit the entire corporate dashboard, hunting down these skewed variables and stripping them out of the equation. This is where leadership often falls into the trap of sunken costs. Because they have already spent millions on a failing initiative, they refuse to remove it from the projection. A turnaround manager removes those emotional attachments and recalculates the company's trajectory using only the remaining, clean data. Correct intelligence in a spreadsheet does not save the company on its own. It has to be packaged into a compelling, undeniable presentation. The ultimate test for any number cruncher is taking that data into a high-pressure room to make hard recommendations for immediate action. If the board ignores the audit and refuses to shift their strategy, the company continues to sink regardless of how accurate the math was. Today, turnaround management faces a new variable of its own: artificial intelligence. Across the finance sector, analysts are concerned that their computational roles, the hours spent formatting reports and analyzing KPIs, are going to be entirely automated. While the technology is advancing, professionals shouldn't get carried away by fears of total obsolescence. AI serves as a supplement. It handles the laborious task of turning numbers into visual summaries and coding basic frameworks, allowing the human analyst to focus on negotiation and high-level strategy. The industry is reaching a threshold where the speed of data processing allows turnaround strategies to be deployed in days rather than months. To understand how these changes move from a niche tool to an industry standard, we look to the framework established by Malcolm Gladwell. Whether a board is reviewing its liquidity or its technological stack, the principles of survival remain the same. Next week, we explore the tipping point and how small changes eventually trigger the collapse or the rescue of an entire organization.